Hey Capricorns, this is Zahara Stars with Illum Astrology, giving you your March 2018 astro weather forecast. Thank you for joining me. I'm so excited to do this for you guys. I love you Capricorns, you hardworking, focused Capricorns. There's been a lot going on with you guys, having Saturn and Pluto both in your sign. Very opposite energies. Pluto's about transformation, power struggles, our willpower. And Saturn is your ruler, and he's about structure and about doing the right thing and about caring about what people think and, being reserved. And you guys are very used to this energy. So Saturn is going to help build you guys. He is your ruler. He's going to help you restructure yourselves, and you're going to come out a whole new person at the end of this transit, which is really exciting because Saturn rules the 10th house of legacy, fame, career, the things that matter, how you get people to respect you, look up to you. And it's all about putting in the work. It's all about finding out who you are in your first house of yourself. Saturn can be strict. He can be tough. You guys are used to the toughness of Saturn. And, you have been working hard to get where you are today. And now Saturn has come around to finalize it, to crystallize it, to make it something to bring you into the person you were meant to be. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on this month, okay? It's a blue moon month. The first of the month, we have a full moon in Virgo. And the last day of the month, on the 31st, we have a full moon in Libra. And full moons really bring us they enhance our intuition, our emotions, our feelings, and they show us things that were hidden and things that we didn't really couldn't quite put our finger on. They bring illumination and even psychic perception. And this is so you can realize some things, to realize something, to be able to make a decision. There's things that are hidden or kind of murky. And the moon is that midnight light, that kind of shows us kind of what we really feel, how we really feel about a situation. If there's some vagueness or things that we really can't really put our finger on, the full moons help illuminate this area. So there's going to be some realizations that come about as a result of the first full moon, and then the following second full moon. Now, aside from that, we also have Mercury and Jupiter both going retrograde this month. Mercury is going retrograde later in the month. Jupiter is the first one to turn retrograde, and that will be on the 8th. There's a lot of really great aspects this month going on that are going to be really helpful in pursuing our goals. After we get these illuminations from the full moon, and we'll start to realize things. Now, it's not really a good idea to make a decision on the full moon because our emotions are on steroids at that time, and we can feel compulsive to be able to want to act out right away. But these realizations that come to you, you will implement, or it's better to implement them after the full moon. Just to make sure that you're not, just going on a whim. But they will give you some illuminations and some realizations, okay? And Mercury retrograde is going to do the same thing because we tend to internalize information. Mercury rules communication, getting information to and from one location, transportation. It rules our cars, computers, technology, our siblings, everything that has to do with communicating. So Mercury turning retrograde always brings things from the past to revisit. When planets turn retrograde, they are rewinding a part of our lives in order for us to make things better, to make any changes, to revisit old situations. Yes, ex-partners come back. If any of you are hoping for that, then every Mercury retrograde is one of the most common times. Does it mean for sure and absolutely it's going to happen? No, but it is one of the most common times for that to happen. But it's not only about relationships, it's also about revisiting things you were working on. Like if you were trying to put up a new website, or you were trying to develop a new blog or a website or a new side business or something. When Mercury turns retrograde, you'll revisit that and you'll want to make changes to make it better. You can also revisit old friendships, people from the past come back, old clients, people that you are marketing to. Can come back and contact you and say, I'm ready to move forward now. It's awesome for sales. It's awesome for trying to fix any type of relationship problems with people, because we tend to think things through and say, maybe I shouldn't have handled the situation that way, or maybe I should have, or whatever. It's a time to revisit people and situations, and it's a time when people and situations come back. Initially, when Mercury turns retrograde, there can be some confusion because everybody's reevaluating. Your old friendships are reevaluating, your old partners are reevaluating, business people are reevaluating. So often we can go onto a website and it's not working, or our phone's disconnecting, or there's technology issues, and this is usually because people are redoing their stuff too. So usually there can be some of that. Also, if any of your technology is outdated or holding you back in some way, Mercury retrograde is about making things more efficient, so that way you don't have to spend all your time trying to fix that loose connection every single time you try to turn on your computer. It's like, get it done, fix it once and for all. Stop doing this. It's slowing you down. So those are the things that Mercury retrograde covers. But also with Jupiter retrograde, okay, now Jupiter retrograde is going to be in your 11th house of friends. And this is about reevaluating your friendships, revisiting friendships, developing friendships. So you guys have really been spending a lot of time with friends and groups and networks and people. You've probably noticed your friendships might have increased. Now with Saturn in your own sign, it's possible that you could feel some sense of alienation a little bit. Sometimes Saturn is blockages, restrictions, and and it's usually because we're evaluating ourselves, and Saturn shows us our weakest links. He shows us the faults in people and in ourselves. And in your first house, you can feel like you're looking at yourself through the ugly lens. You feel like you see every flaw about yourself, because the first house is your physical body and it's enhanced. So you can start to feel old, you can feel tired, you can feel, even if you're young, you can just feel tired, you can feel more serious, like you're really taking things more serious, you want to do things more conventional. You're evaluating heavily, trying to figure out who it is you want to be for this next level. And so Jupiter transiting your 11th house of friends, although that would expand your network, make you spend a lot of time with friends, and you can have really good relationships with your friends, Saturn in your first can make you feel more reserved, or maybe you're just approaching your friendships differently, screening them out differently, trying to pick better friends, people that will help you and be there for you in the long term, because Saturn's all about longevity and commitment. So Jupiter is going to turn retrograde on the 8th, and it's going to be retrograding back in your 11th house of friends, and this is about karmic meetings, fated meetings. You can meet people that can become your friend during this retrograde cycle that will help you in the future. People maybe that you haven't met before, that maybe you passed by and you never really became a friend with them. This is the type of things that retrogrades do, is they bring opportunities to us, bring things from the past to us. If you haven't talked to a friend in a long time, they can contact you, or you can contact them, or feel desire to reach out to them. It's all about fixing things, developing, expanding, and Jupiter is all about expansion. Now, the first part of this month, and actually the last part of last month, might have been a little bit slower for you guys, a little bit more, I don't know. Some people get insomnia when Mars transits the 12th house. It's a very active mind. Like, you think a lot. Mars is pure energy, and in your subconscious area of the dream state, sleep state, fantasies, along with memories and all things in the subconscious area, it can push things out that you weren't aware of. Like, you suddenly realize you like this person that you broke up with, and oh no, I shouldn't have done this. Or you realize things you've done wrong. It's a house of self-undoing as well. So it can be a slower time. It's a water house. Mars is pure fire energy, so he's watered down in that house, and it tends to be all mental, a lot of mental thinking, which can lead to insomnia. So you're going to be really, really happy to hear that in the middle of the month, around the more around the 15th of the month, Mars will leave this house and enter into your house, your sign, giving you energy and vitality back, courage, and you can get a lot done. It also adds a ton of sex appeal to you. Because Mars is just sexy. Mars is pure, unadulterated energy, and it gives you energy, gives you confidence, and you come across as somebody that has a lot of power, especially with Saturn and Pluto in your sign, and Mars joining in there. Wow, it's pretty incredible. So if you've been feeling slowed down or want to spend more time by yourself or had problems sleeping or overthinking and even worries, because it's about our hidden fears, hidden worries, things like that, it's an awesome house because it helps us deal with stuff that we suppress, that we hide away, that we try to ignore, so that way we can move forward on the new Mars cycle. When Mars enters back into your sign again, you're starting a new Mars cycle, which is going to start about putting the energy into yourself, feeling confident, feeling good. You've let go of some of those heavier things, and you'll be feeling a lot better. So the last part of March is going to be really good. You're going to feel a lot better than you have if you've been feeling sluggish, tired, down a little bit, too overthinking, that type of stuff that Mars does through the 12th house. It's going to change, and you are going to feel energetic, confident, and much better. Okay. Now, in addition to this, you've been having the Sun and Venus both transiting your third house of communication, getting around town, all that stuff. So it does point to a lot of social activity for you guys. I think I was talking to you last month about the social activity. However, Mars through the 12th can slow that down. It can make you feel like you want to spend more time by yourself, or you can find yourself very tired. So maybe it could have affected this transit somewhat, but if not, you might have been communicating a lot, driving around town a lot, doing a lot of texting, emailing, paperwork, stuff like that, all third house things. In the middle of the month, Venus and Mercury are going to enter Aries, which is your fourth house of home. And this is actually going to happen on the 6th. The earlier part of the month. On the 6th, Mercury and Venus will both move into Aries. And that is going to be your fourth house of home, family, and, early childhood, security, and your actual place of living. Okay, so you're going to feel like you want to do new things in your home. You're going to want to add something to your home. You may buy more cooking gear or tapestries or curtains and blankets or whatever type of thing to make your home more comfortable. Venus is all about glamour and romance and beauty. So we tend to want to beautify that area. And since it's moving into your fourth house on the 6th, both Mercury and Venus, there'll be a lot of activity with family and home and doing things in the home and spending more time with family. You'll get benefits from home. If you work from home, you'll see that there'll be an increase in business from home. There are 2 days that I'm just kind of warning everybody in terms of those of you that are in a relationship or have a partner, that you might want to be cautious of. If you're currently happy and everything seems fine, and then all of a sudden on the 13th, you can find that when Saturn squares Venus is our beauty, what we're attracted to. It's the things that bring us pleasure. So Saturn square it can cut that off, and we can see fault in everything, and we can see the ugly side of stuff. And so we can be really particular, and we're just not. It's also diplomacy. So when Saturn squares Venus, it's like we don't want to be diplomatic anymore. We could care less. We just want to say, hey, I don't like that. I don't like this. I'm not tolerating this. And we can become unbearable to our partners, and very picky, very nitpicky, and even test their boundaries and just start drama. So I just want you to be aware of that day, just in case, because you may feel differently after this transit passes, and you don't want to cause any permanent a disaster or breakups if it's not necessary. Now, on the other side, if you're not happy in your relationship, you're likely to let your partner really know. And even if you are happy, you're probably still going to find fault. So just be cautious on this day. But like I said, if the relationship isn't balanced and you're not happy in it, it is a possible breakup day. Okay, it really is. Just because you just see things for what they are. Saturn shows us our weakest links, and in order to get rid of them. But sometimes we can become unbearable, demanding, unreasonable, and definitely have very little tact. So the way that we say something can be completely offensive, and so just be cautious, because Venus is about diplomacy and saying the right thing, and not offending not ruffling too many feathers. The other day is on the 23rd, when Venus in Aries is going to square Pluto, and this is an all or nothing day where we really feel like if you're not getting what you want in your relationship, then you're going to let your partner know again on this day, because it's pent up emotions, pent up frustrations, all these things suddenly just want to come out. And we could be very demanding, controlling, and bossy with our partners when Venus is square Pluto. So those are the really main 2 days that I just want you to kind of watch out for. There's also a new moon that's going to occur in Pisces, and this is in your third house of communication, and that's happening on the 17th. And this is all about, re-evaluating how you communicate, how you get information out, computers, technology, all that stuff. So the new moon there can definitely make somebody want to upgrade their stuff, change stuff. Things can break down and then you have to replace it. I mean, it's possible. It's ending and beginning. So sometimes if something is wrong, it's Murphy's Law. If something's going to break, it can. But it's going to put a lot of energy into communicating and driving around town and visiting local places and communicating with siblings and all that stuff. So there's going to be a lot of focus on the third house stuff. And this could be technology, like if you're working on a website, like I said, or if you're starting to start a new business, or you want to improve these areas. This new moon is going to push this through, okay? It's going to start making the focus for the next 28 days on this area for you guys. So, I mean, overall, March is an awesome month because of the fact that, we're going to get chances to fix things, to go back, revisit them. People come back. We reevaluate things, we make them more efficient with Mercury and Jupiter both retrograde. So there's going to be a lot of, retrogrades are awesome because of the fact that they do give us second opportunities. However, they can be confusing at first and things can kind of slow down because it's not a great time to start a new project, but rather plan one, because we're rewinding, we're going backwards. It's not a good time to start something new, but it's a good time to take something or idea that you've already started and start making the plans to do it. Or if you already started something, to go back and fix it. And this is all about relationships, all about technology, all about everything. You get a second chance to go back and make it better. So it's always exciting to have retrograde planets. And this year we're going to have all the planets turn retrograde, which doesn't happen every year. Yes, we always have planets retrograde, but February was the last month before all the retrogrades start, and that's when all the planets were moving direct, and it's when we're planting seeds to get the rewards when the planets start to turn retrograde. We reap the harvest. We get all the, we receive what we put out. So this year we are going to have Venus and Mars also turn retrograde, which won't do that but every 2.5 years. So all the planets will be retrograde this year. So it's going to be a lot of revisiting, a lot of going back, but I'll get into that in the next month's forecast. So please do check back for that. Thank you so much for listening. If you would like to read more about aspects and astrology and all that stuff, please visit my site at www.illumastrology.blogspot.com. I wrote a whole slew of stuff over there about synastry and transits and all that stuff. If you'd like to just learn more about that, I am going to be adding more here. If you found this helpful and you found me on YouTube, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to get all my latest uploads. Otherwise, check back in April 2018 and I will have your new horoscope up for that month. Again, thanks so much for listening and have a fabulous March 2018.